Hello, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or any other source you all might be listening to you. This is Jesus Christ coming into you, the vessel of David Jenkins, and coming to you in the cloud of David Jenkins, as I showed you all in the previous video. Men are clouds. David Jenkins was just a man the same as every other man on this planet. A cloud. But it says men are clouds without water. If you drink of the water I give you, you'll never thirst again. Because I seek our Father, our glorious Father. As I stated, we're going to name this one. The name of this video is The Mark of the Beast. The reason we're doing this video is because there are many out here that believe this is something that's coming in the future. And you're going to realize through this video that stems off of the very first book that I showed you in the last video. The Father had me write, Father, forgive us, we haven't been listening. That stems off of it right there. Because men don't listen to the Bible. So they imagine that there's going to be a day that we, men in the flesh, are not going to be able to buy or sell anything. We'll buy a computer chip or nanobot they're talking about putting in a vaccine and all that, whatever. None of that's going to happen. And I mean, we're told that in the Bible. We're told that. That's not how it's going to be. Okay? The Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist, is already here. Okay? The buying and selling, we're going to go over this in a few minutes, is above us. It's not down here. And our Father has already purchased us with the Son of His blood. That's why we're here in the 1,000-year reign now. Many think the 1,000-year reign is something that's going to come at the end of the year. But as I have shown in the books, the first, third, and fourth books, the 1,000-year reign. Well, in the first book, I didn't understand that we was living in the 1,000-year reign. My understanding has grown a lot deeper since the first book. The first book, like I said in the last video, I woke up knowing that knowledge. I can't discern when exactly that I realized that we were living in the 1,000-year reign now, and it's not something to come. Okay? But that also stems off of how we don't listen to the scriptures. Okay? And so forth. But anyway, as I said, I'm going to start my videos out, John 4, verses 23 and 4. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship Him. God is a spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Now, there's going to be a lot of information I'm going to put into this. There's going to be a lot of Bible verses I'm not going to show, because there's a lot of stuff that I've shown in previous videos, or there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up in later videos. But I'm going to try to compress this so that it's not real lengthy, but it is still at the same time going to take quite a while to make this video. Because there's a few things we got to go over, and each thing I can't just explain with 2 minutes. I'm not going to show you a Bible verse and say, this is what this means, just believe me. That's not how I do the videos. The Father has shown me. That's not how the Father has taught me, and I can't teach you in a different way than what He's taught me. But I will encourage you, if I do bring up something that I'm not showing exactly, I encourage you to look it up, because I only speak of the Bible. I don't go off the imagination of what man thinks, but I will show you how man runs off their imagination instead of just listening. All right, as I showed you in Acts 13, we're going to go over, behold, ye despisers, and wonder. Behold, ye despisers, and wonder, and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which ye shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. And he is working the works. And I show this in the fourth book, only the fourth book, and I don't know if there will be time to write another book. I don't know. But many people think Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. The Bible talks about how God was, you know what, that's something I do need to look up real quick. Actually, that won't take long either. But many people think that Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. And I want to show you something real quick. Just go to Psalm 90. Scroll down. Whoops. Bible Gateway's changed their thing a little bit there, so I'm kind of getting used to it. Right here at the beginning of Psalm 90. This is when and I show this in the fourth book, but when we read the Bible, we think it happened already. But we're going to read the very first part, the first few verses in Psalm 90 here, and realize why that is. Okay? Psalm 90, Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Thou turnest man to destruction, and sayest, Return, ye children of men. For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Now when we listen to that, okay, and when we truly listen to that, what that's saying, okay, what we're living today has already happened in our Father's world. So when our Father is commanding those to write the books, write the Bible, okay, he's actually saying it in a past tense, telling them to put it in a past tense version, but it's not happened yet. Now, what I'm talking about is the birth of Jesus. As I told you and showed you in the last book, okay, and I'll just refer you to Isaiah 8, first 8 verses. You realize Emmanuel, spelled with an I, not an E. We all know Emmanuel in the New Testament, spelled with an E, is interpreted as God with us. Okay, Emmanuel 8. Emmanuel, spelled with an I, not an E, covers the whole earth. That's everybody on the planet. Doesn't matter what color, what race, what nationalism, doesn't matter what size, what shape, does not matter what they've done, what they're doing, or what they will do. Everybody still makes up part of the Son of God. Everybody. We all have the red blood. We all breathe the same air. We all walk on the same dirt, same ground, same earth. We all are part of the Son of God. God breathed life into man so that man became a living soul. John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the truth, the way, to the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. There's more to that than just that. Okay, when he says I'm the truth, the way, the life, I might have those backwards, but anyway, the life is the breath that God breathed into man in the beginning so that man became a living soul. Okay, there's that life. Part of God himself is in each one of us. We all make up the one Son of God. Remember, they are talking from heaven. And I'm getting way off track. Sorry about that. All right, the mark of the beast. This is the mark. Okay, as I showed you in the last video, okay, I am the only sign this generation will get. Okay, this is one of the verse section that we're talking that a lot of people think this was said a few thousand years ago. No, I'm saying it now. Okay, I'm saying it now. The certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Then the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. I'm saying this wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, I am the only sign this generation will be given. There will be no other sign. Everything will be just as it is now, maybe a little more intensified, probably a little more intensified. But other than that, everything's going to go on as normal. The reason I am your sign is because I bring you an understanding of what our Father's doing. From what I showed you last night in Ecclesiastes 3:11, our Father has put it in man's heart so that man could not understand from the time of the beginning till the time of the end. Why? That just takes me to, well, if he did, well, then people would be just referring me to some of the scriptures where a thief can't get in. I think it's talking about, like in Matthew 24, I think it talks about where the scriptures talk about if a good man knew the day and hour. Well, it's not, that's what it's referring to, but if he knew the day and hour, then he might wait until the last moment. Well, we're in the last moments, so to speak, but nobody knows the day or hour. Okay, but you can't just fake it. Can't. All right, I'm getting off track. All right, so we're going to go to Revelation 13, and we're going to read a lot of it. Bear with me, because we're going to read all of it, because as you all can tell, I don't read all that. I read fine, but when I read out loud, I stutter a lot. Or not stutter, but I mess up. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Okay, now I'm not gonna show this right now. Okay, but remember, they're talking from heaven, and it says here on the very first verse, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Those 7 heads are the 7 continents on the earth. Okay, the rest of the earth is covered with water. We have 7 continents. Those 7 continents rose up. Those 7 continents. There's the 7 heads of the beast. Okay, and upon his horns, okay, we already read that. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay? And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Remember, that's everybody on the planet. Now I lost my spot. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain for the foundation of the world. Okay, now, the foundation of the world. Okay, remember I said we're living in the 1,000-year reign now? Okay, now through the books I showed Jesus, the last time Jesus walked this earth was 4.5 billion years ago. Scriptures where Jesus says, are there not but 12 hours in the day? I ask you, how many hours are in the day? We all know there's 24 hours a day. But if you do a Google search, it was 4.5 billion years ago. The day from sunrise to sunrise, or from sunset to sunset, was only 12 hours long. See, that stems off of, Father, we haven't been listening. Forgive us, we haven't been listening. Okay, we're told that he was actually here 4.5 billion years ago was the last time he walked here. He was slain. That's why the Father gave him gave him the earth, so that we, get sidetracked, we can learn how to love in the same manner that our Father loves. That's the whole purpose of why we're here. That is, I mean, that is the sole purpose of why we are alive today. Because our Father took the, all right, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting way sidetracked. Okay? But Jesus, the first time he was here, was slain so that the 1,000-year reign could be set up. Okay? This 1,000-year reign, now the world is getting ready to come. This world is getting ready to come to an end, because as the scriptures say, look it up, Jesus appeared once in the end of the world. Okay? Well, when David walked out into the wilderness and back in 2016 willingly laid down his life, the Spirit of Jesus took over that vessel of David, and now he's here gathering the remnant for the end, because we are in the end. This is the last days. All right, now, first family, okay. Where did I leave off at? Dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name are not written. Okay. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh the fire come down from heaven on the earth in sight of men. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an angel to the beast, which had the wound by the sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now do the calculations. That's 666. Excuse me. All right, now I gotta pause this for a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry I had to pause that because the news is on. Watching the news here, and watching this Hurricane Isaias come into Florida. You know, I'm going to Florida, Tampa, but it's not gonna mess with me. It's not gonna mess with the west part of Florida. Gotta just go ahead and say that yes, I think there's something biblical about this. If they don't pronounce it Isaias on the news, they pronounce, I don't even remember how they pronounce it, but if you look at the spelling, it is spelled exactly the same as Isaiah with the S. And we know the scriptures, Isaiah. I believe that, I don't know, because I'm always thinking of the Bible. Yeah, I think there's something to this. But anyway, back to where we was. And we, all right, in verse 16, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, now that is not a physical mark. Yes, I showed you in the last video, and I think I've showed it in one of the other videos I've made. I have the cross on my head that I didn't put there, just magically showed up back in 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. I was thinking about that. It might have been the latter part of 2014. Anyway, I got this cross on my head, but But this mark of the beast, that is a spiritual mark. And the Father had me show this in the very first book that he had me write. Father, forgive us, we haven't been listening. Okay, but he had me show this. And we're getting ready to go over some of that. We're not all of it. I can't cover everything that's in the books. All of the books that the Father's had me write are about 300 pages long. So the videos would be just days long, not just as long as they are. But like I said, I can't explain everything in just a short video. Okay, but now, then verse 17 is that it says, "In that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." All right, now, when we listen, and maybe I got these out of order, okay? Well, let's listen to Luke 17. Did I have it highlighted here? I don't think I did. Okay, verse 26. Start with. Okay, we can hear the scripture saying, "And it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives. They were given in marriage, until the day of that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded." Now, okay, as we're being told right there, everything's going to be the same. We are still going to be able to buy and sell. Okay, they're still going to be doing, I say construction because I'm a truck driver. They're doing that all over the place. Everything's going to stay the same. This buying and selling, nobody's going to have to worry about that. That's not going to happen. I am the only sign. See, up into verse 27 here, they did eat, they drank, they married wives. They were given in marriage until the day of Noah, that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be just like that. I'm going to keep here. I'm going to keep writing books. I'm going to keep making videos. Everybody's going to be doing everything that's going on right now. Maybe a couple different things. Maybe a couple things will fall away. Okay, but nothing's going to change. We're going to be able to go buy our food. We're going to be able to buy our necessary things and so forth. That's not going to stop. We're being told that right here. It's going to be just like it was until the final day. Okay? Like it says right there, until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came. Once this happens, it's done. Okay? Everything's gonna stay the same. It's gonna be up to each individual person to seek after our Father. Now I gotta go back to where I was. I read Revelation there. Okay. Now, we are in Matthew 22 when they are asking Jesus, which are the two greatest commandments. Master, which is the great, verse 36, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeah. Excuse me. Jesus said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, with all of thy soul, and with all of thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay, that's all further we need to read. Now, we just read in Revelation, the number of the man is 666. Whatever, 666. All right, we're going to be going over this more here in a few minutes, but in the beginning, man was created on the 6th day. All right, now, I want you to listen to the greatest commandment. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, with all of thy heart. This is talking about thy Father. This is not talking about somebody, some spirit that's told you to change our Father, our perfect Father. Okay? Love thy God with all of thy heart, 1:6. And with all thy soul, 2:6. And with all of thy mind, 3:6. There's your 666. If you don't love our Father with all of your heart, soul, and mind, you have taken the mark of the beast. Seek our Father. That's how simple this is. It's not some complicated thing that if they're going to put in vaccines, that's never going to work, because I already know I won't take a vaccine. I won't take any antibody stuff or anything like that, okay? But we're going to get into that a little bit, in a little bit, because it also has to do with not wanting to stay here in this world, okay? And I'm not doing anything to make myself stay here 1 second longer than the Father needs me to be here. But the mark of the beast is a spiritual mark. It's not a physical mark. It's not going to be any computer chip or anything like that. It's if you choose not to love our Father, God, the Father, with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, you've got the 3/6. If you don't love him with all of your heart, but you do your mind and soul. If you don't love him with all of your heart, you can't love him with all of your mind and soul. If you do love him with all your heart, but not your soul, then they all coincide. Okay? If one iota of you does not love him with all, in every way, then you'll make all of you not love him. He's perfect. He's righteous, and he's justified. It's not about, oh, I'll love him when I'm by myself, but I won't love him when I'm around others. Now, let's go into the second commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, your neighbor is anyone you see. I'll just bring up the parable. I'm not going to show it, but the parable of the man that went into a city, the Samaritan, I think it says the Samaritan went into the city, got robbed, got beaten up, left for dead. A pastor, now the scriptures say this, a pastor saw him, walk past him, didn't do nothing. A Levite saw him, walked past him, didn't do nothing. A good Samaritan come up, saw him, put him in a hotel. Look this scripture up. I'm not going to show it right now. Part of this is to encourage you to check out the scriptures yourself. Okay? But he took it, put him in a hotel. It's not called a hotel. I don't think it is in the scriptures, but he put him in a hotel. Cleaned this guy up, took care of him, and told them he would pay up the bill on his return at the motel to take care of this man. Doesn't say that he knew this guy. Doesn't say that this was a long-lost friend or any of that stuff. He saw a fellow servant and or vessel of God. Everybody's a servant and or vessel of God. Okay? That's that life that God breathed into every person. Doesn't matter what color, what race, what nationalism, what size or shape. Doesn't matter what they've done, doing, or will do. It does not matter. But this guy saw that this guy was a fellow servant and or vessel of God, and he took pity upon him and showed mercy toward him, just as our Father does, and took care of him. Okay? That's everybody. That's how you love thy neighbor. Why? Because God, that life that God, the Father, breathed into man in the beginning so that man became a living soul, which makes up the part of the Son of God that's in everybody. God, the Father, dwells in you. Dwells in everybody. So if you don't love, if you walk by that guy and say, you know what, I got better things to do with my time, and there's more meaning to that explained in the books, but if you walk by that guy and say, you know what, I got other things to do, you're putting your life in front of him, his life. And as the scriptures say, as Jesus says, no better love than a man lay down his life for another. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about everybody else. It's not about you. Okay? Now, I'm getting off track. I'm getting way off track. Okay, but the mark of the beast is not going to be anything like that. It's you choosing not to love the Father with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Then it's you choosing not to love thy neighbor, which is God the Father, with all of your heart, soul, and mind. And if you don't love your neighbor, we all make up, and I explain this like in the second book, there's like almost 8 billion little Jesuses walking around on this planet. Okay? If you ignore this person so you can go do whatever you want to do, you don't love Jesus either. You think of yourself before you think of others. Okay, now, as I started talking about earlier about the antibodies and vaccines and so forth, this all ties in with the mark of the beast, okay? All right. Now we're in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. We're just going to start at verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, God hates pride, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Little children, it is the last time. As ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. How many people out here want to learn about the Father? And I show this explicitly in the third and fourth book. Okay? Nowhere in the scriptures does Jesus say, don't learn about the Father. Jesus refers us to the Old Testament several. I can't even count how many times. Okay? But the scriptures refer us to the Old Testament. How many people don't even have the Old Testament, never looked at the Old Testament, and only listen to what man has said about the Old Testament, has completely ignored what our Father has been saying since day one? Okay? Isaiah 27:11 is, God will not have mercy on anyone without understanding. Okay, that's what I do. These books give you an understanding of what our Father has been doing since day one. Okay, we're getting ready to go over that. You're going to be learning that. Okay, but He's given us an understanding. He has shown me how to show you all how to understand what He's been doing since day one. As I showed you in the previous video, God has put it in Ecclesiastes 3:11. God has put it in man's heart so that man cannot understand from the time of the beginning till the time of the end. That's another confirmation that we're in the time of the end, because I understand, and I'm showing you all the same understanding that I have, but I can't. I can't expect you all to understand it the way I do, because I'm teaching you. The Father has taught me, and the Father is the ultimate teacher. But I give you a much better understanding, and I try to keep things so that you can understand in the same way that I can, but I know you can't, because I'm not the teacher that He is. Okay? Let's see here. But anyway, love not the world, nor the things, okay? This is where, we're getting into this. Deuteronomy, I use the entire Bible. From Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. I use all of it. Okay? Anyway, I got sidetracked. Deuteronomy 12. Now, this goes on to the blood transfusions, or the antibodies that now they're saying on the news they're taking antibodies out of people and putting that blood into someone else, or the plasma. All right, now, okay, this is something back in a long time ago the Father showed me, and I'm going to give a little details on this. This is explained in the book, but only Deuteronomy 12:23. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it. Thou shalt pour it upon the earth as waters. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. Okay, blood. If we can't eat blood, why would we be able to take someone else's blood? If we eat blood, that blood goes throughout our bodies. If we take an antibiotic shot with someone else's blood or plasma or whatever, we are putting that blood throughout our bodies. Okay? Now, we just went over, love not the ways of this world. If we do this, okay, and I know before I read this in the Bible, and it was when I read it back in when the Father first called me to the Bible in 2011, I used to eat my steaks and my hamburgers. I used to like them medium rare. Well, actually, it was back in the 90s I stopped eating a medium rare. I got sick from eating a hamburger medium rare. But anyway, once the Father called me to the Bible, I realized that we're not supposed to eat blood. I stopped eating things medium rare because you're eating blood, whether you like it or not. And I know people say no. I don't care if it is food color. I don't think it is. It's not. When I was a teenager, I worked in processing plants, and I think that's blood. Whatever. I won't eat medium rare. I will not take blood from someone else. Now, here, listen to this. Remember what I was talking about? God breathed life into man so that man became a living soul. God, our Father, is the one that formed you in the womb of your mother. He's the one that supplied all your organs, all your body parts, all your blood. Okay? Now, when these things fail, when these things when you lose your blood or whatever, it's nothing. And like I told you before in the last video, everything happens for a reason. Okay? If it's your time to go, accept it. Be well with it. If it's not your time to go, our Father won't let you go. You won't die. Okay? Under no circumstances. He's not going to let it happen. So, but by doing this, now, let's just hypothetically say I would take, because there's no way I will, all right, but let's just say I come down with this COVID-19 and I'm in the hospital, which is not going to happen. I made this testimony in the book. I will not take any chest compressions. I will not take any assistance in breathing. I will not live here 1 second longer than I have to. Nothing. I refuse all medical treatment. Okay? There will be nothing done to me. If the Father wants me to die, so be it. I'm ready to go. Okay? But now, if I was to come down with this COVID-19 and I say, go ahead and shoot that antibiotic in me, I'm taking blood from someone else, and I'm saying, Father, spiritually, remember, God is spirit. Those that worship God must, we're going back to the very first verse, slide, well, whatever, Bible, part of the Bible that I showed you, must worship him in spirit and truth. Okay? If I take that blood from someone else, I'm spiritually telling my Father, I'd rather live here in hell than with you. Yes, that's showed in the second book. We are in hell. But man imagines different kinds of fires. You know, these videos right here that you watch, most of you probably don't even watch them all the way through. Why? Because it burns. You don't like me speaking the truth. You don't like what I have to say. It burns. Why? Because you're in hell. You shut the video off, you ignore me, you reject me. Excuse me. I'm not telling my Father in any way, shape, or form I want to stay here 1 second longer. If I'm gone, all right, get off of it. Now, yesterday I told you we're going to learn a little bit about Genesis. Now, what we're realizing here. Remember how we went over in Revelation? The beast is the 7 heads, the 7 continents. In the beginning, Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day. Notice how that D. See, I use the King James Bible only. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, I want to do this real quick. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Okay. Now, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night or of darkness. Now, go back to Genesis 1. Notice how God said children of called the light day. Notice how that D's capitalized. James 1. Hear the engrafted word, which may save your souls. James 1, verse 21. Okay? That's connected with 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Okay? The children of the day. There's the day. Okay? Now the beast. 7 continents. Man has been on the 7 continents. We all been in with the beast. We're all in the beast, or however you want to say it. Okay? But God, see, and when it was the beast, it was completely darkness. Nobody wanted anything to do with God. Nobody did anything but for themselves. Go through the scriptures, just keyword search. Every man is out for themselves. That's in the Bible several times. Okay? Only seek things to profit for themselves instead of helping others. All right? That was complete darkness. They don't care about anyone else. But we are called the light. He called the light day. Now, we're going to jump down here to verse 4, to the 4th day. Let's see here. All right. Now, we're jumping down to the 4th day. Okay. Oh, by the way, I need to mention that. Okay, in the 4th book, last video, I started talking about some other chapters that are in the other book. There's a new chapter in the 4th book. Like I said, the 3rd book's wrapped up into the 4th book. We got the one chapter that's called the Let Us Make Man in Our Own Image. We're going over some of this right here. We'll be going over some of this here in just a few minutes, but we also got another chapter in there that the son of perdition revealed, because I revealed the son of perdition, and we all know the Bible tells us that the great day of the Lord cannot come until the son of perdition be revealed. I reveal him, because yes, we are getting close. I encourage you to get the book, because I can't just give you you're not going to understand it by just watching these videos. A lot of these videos are going to encourage you to read the book, because if you don't understand what he's doing, he will not show you any mercy in the upcoming days. Things may look bad now, but this is nothing. Okay. All right. Now, what we're doing here is we're showing you how man has not listened to our Father since the beginning. Okay? We're jumping down, starting with the 4th day. All right, but now we just listened to in the very beginning of the Bible where God created the light, divided the light from the darkness. Okay, capitalize the D. Go to first lesson. We don't need to go over that again. Okay, let's go to verse 14, Genesis 1. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night." Wait a second. I thought he just did that in the very first section of the Bible. This is how we stem off of, "Father, forgive us, we haven't been listening." He just did this on the very first day. But wait a second. Let the lights be a firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Let them be for the lights of the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the sun, obviously, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. But he just did that on the first day. He divided the light from the day. Man was already here until he breathed. Then God breathed life into man, so that man became a living soul. That soul is Jesus. Everybody makes up the one Son of God. One Son of God. And he's inside of you, and he's going to do whatever the Father commands him to do. Okay? Now, let's see here. Rule of the day. I'm losing track here. Yeah, I should have showed that. Well, no. No, we need to stay on Genesis here. Now we're going to skip down to the fifth day was when God created all the animals. Notice how God commands the animals too. Okay? Notice in verse 20, let's just go ahead and read it. And God said, we're reading the fifth day now. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth and upon the firmament of heaven." And God created whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after their kind. And God saw that it was good, and God blessed them, saying, now remember, he's talking to the animals. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let the fowl multiply in the earth." This is what he commanded the animals. And in the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Now, the sixth day, and God said, I'm getting ahead of myself. In verse 24, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind." Yeah. Creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good, and God said, "Let us make man." Okay, now we're going into the sixth day. Now, God said, "Let us make man in our image." Now, there's a great big chapter on this in the fourth book, because man misinterprets this. I'll just refer you to, like I said in the last video, Colossians 1. If we look like them, we're invisible. Jesus is in the image of the invisible God. Okay? So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Everything we have on earth, they have up there. See, this is where we got to go to the prayer that Jesus talks about in Matthew 6. We're going to go back to that here, back to Genesis here in a minute. But I want to see, in Matthew 6, when they ask him how to pray, Jesus says, "After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven." Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and power. I don't know why that's doing that. And glory forever. Amen. Okay? Now, go back up. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. There's the image that he made us into. As it's happening in heaven, it's happening here. So we're not going to see everything that the Bible is talking about. You know, that here, I'll give you a good example. All right. Now, well, okay, this is where we got to understand that there's Revelation 5:3, and no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. Now, I know I'm kind of jumping around there, but that no man in heaven or in earth, it's like we have a duplicate of ourselves in the spiritual realm above us, that are above us. Now, let's go back to Genesis. Now, the reason why I say this, go back to 26, when God said, and God said, let us make man in our image. Who was he talking to? He wasn't talking to us. He was talking, this has to go with Philippians 1, where it says our conversations are in heaven. Okay? When he said, let us make man in our own image, was he talking to man, say, man, let us make man in our own image? No, he was talking to those above us. Above us. Telling them, above us, to make man in our own image. Okay? He wasn't telling us. That's what I've been saying. When you read or listen to the Bible, it's like you're sticking your head above the clouds or above the sea, because that's another chapter that's in the flood. That's in the book, the fourth book, that just as the days of Noah. Okay, and that's when the Son of Man is revealed. But we're living in that flood. I myself have seen that flood with my own two eyes. Last November, the Father sent me to Hawaii. Get the book if you want to read about it. Okay? But yeah, he sent me to Hawaii, and I seen this flood. It's about 4 or 5 miles deep. I explained how I seen it. I explained how the Father put it together. Right there while I was flying in the plane at 32,000 feet. I seen it. I mean, it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. It was so cool. I watched this stuff for, but it's just like, wow. But I've seen this flood. So there's a lot of meaning to just as the days of, it'll be just as the days of Noah. We're covered in that water. Everybody's covered in that water. That water is 4 to 5 miles deep. I seen it. I seen it with my own two eyes. I couldn't believe it. Okay, I think that's what's going to go on to the next video. I think, as I told you, Jesus hasn't been born yet. Everybody on the planet makes up the one Son of God. Okay, that's probably what the next video is going to be about. It's going to show how the COVID-19, the economic shutdown, the thing with George Floyd, the racial tensions that are going on through the world right now, and so forth. These are all contractions. We are in labor. And yeah, I'm going to have to make a video on that to kind of show how we all got to go through all this together. Nobody's getting raptured out of here. That's a made-up term. The man going off their imagination. All right. But now I want to go back to this. We just realized. I'm hoping you realize that God wasn't talking to us when he said, let us make man in our own image, but he was actually talking to those above us. And he's also at the same time telling us, when we read the Bible, we're not hearing conversations that he's talking to us. We're hearing conversations that are being held in heaven. And remember what we talked about in Psalm 90. Okay, our next 1,000 years is like yesterday to our Father. It's already done to our Father because he knows everything. Okay, he knows what's going to happen in 1 billion years from now. Our next 1,000 years, it's already past tense to him. And that's why the Bible sounds like it's already happened when it hasn't happened. And that's why I said the birth of Jesus, there's a chapter in the next book, in the fourth book, called The Birth of Jesus, that explains this. Okay? But yeah, all right. But anyway, but I want to go over this to back up to the fourth day when God created the lights and the moons, because I know a lot of people, that's another sign that people look for. They look for planet alignments or sign stars and so forth. Remember, we just learned that he is talking to those above us. Remember in Matthew 12, I am the only sign this generation will get. Okay? We're not going to see anything in the skies and the sun and the moon and the stars for a sign of the end. I am the sign of the end. Okay? That when he made the lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and God made the two great, let's see here. Actually, in verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. They're not for times and seasons and days and years for us. They're for them, above us. They have dominion. Oh, yeah, I forgot to go over that. Okay? But they have dominion over us. Okay, now, going back to let us make man in our own image, and God says, let us make man in our own image, blah, blah, blah. So God, okay, I got to finish reading that. I forgot. I'm getting ahead of myself because I got about another hour I'm wanting to leave. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue. Now, there's where God defines. He said unto us, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Other than that, he wasn't talking to us. And subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Okay. Now how we just talked about, God was talking about the sun and the moon and the stars were for signs for those above us. He was talking to those above us when he said, let us make man in our own image. Remember, now, notice how God gave dominion gave man dominion over the animals. Okay, he gave them dominion over us. They have dominion over us. This is explained in the fourth book. This explains what exactly is going on in the world right now in the chapter called the birth of Jesus, because they have dominion over us. They cause us to do certain things. To give a brief illustration of that, who do you think caused me to have the car accident March 28th, Good Friday of 1986? Be in a coma. Who caused me to be in a coma for 3 days and 3 nights? Who caused me to turn to the Bible in 2011? Who caused me to walk out into the wilderness in March 8th of 2016, almost 30 years later to the day, to be baptized with the Holy Ghost? It's those that have dominion over me. See how the scriptures are being fulfilled? They have dominion over all of us. There's nothing that happens without reason. Everything happens for a reason. Okay? There's no such thing as a car accident as man caused it. If it happens, there's a reason it happened. Okay? There's no such thing as luck. That's good or bad. No such thing as luck. That's a made up word made by man. I don't know why, but everything happens for a reason. Okay? All right, now, where was I here? No man in heaven. See, that no man in heaven? See, that's who he was talking to. He was talking to the spirits above us. When he said, let us make man in our own image, he was telling them above us, let us make man in our image. He's telling those above us. We have another one above us, okay, that I'm losing my spot. Sorry. I already did that one. Now, going back to the buying and selling, all right, we've already been bought. Take you to Acts 20. Verse 28. Take heed therefore unto yourselves, and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Ghost hath made you overseers, to feed the church of God, which he hath purchased with his own blood. The buying and selling is going on up there, not here. He's already purchased us with the Son of his blood. That's why you have red blood. I guess pointing to my hand doesn't really work. But that's why we have red blood. That's why we breathe the air that we breathe. That's why we walk on the earth that we walk on, because he's already purchased us with the blood of his Son. He has said, I'm going to give you, I show this in the book, 70 or 80,000 years. A day is 1,000 years, whatever. I explain that in the books. Okay, but he said, I love you. I'm going to give you this amount of time to learn how to love in the same manner that I love. I'll give you this chance to not make it about yourself and make it about others, the same way that he did. If our Father would have made it about him, none of us would ever have a chance. Again, we would all have an eternal life of damnation that would be far more worse than what we got now. All right, I think that pretty well covers what this video is talking about. Like I said, I'm trying to wrap it up, and I'm trying to kind of hurry. For your all's information, I don't give a lot of thought to these. I want to tell you what I did. I drove pretty much all night last night. Got done driving. I put on the computer here certain sections of the Bible that I wanted to show you for this topic, and then got some sleep, got a decent day's sleep, then got back up, and here we go, making the video. I don't put a lot of thought, I'm not going to sit here and try to make everything fancy. I want you to see me for who I am. I want you to be able to know that I'm no different than anybody else on this planet. I'm not an expert at anything. Okay, that takes me to where God is using the foolishness of this world. That's me. I'm the foolishness of this world. I've got a nice, great education. I've dropped out of college 3 times, failed at that too. I have failed at everything but one thing, the Bible. And now I understand the Bible in such a manner, in such a fashion, that I will go up against any Bible theologian or scholar that has studied the Bible every day of their life, and I will show them things that they have not seen or heard since the beginning of time. Because I've had the ultimate teacher teaching me. I have confidence in him. So I ask you to ask our Father to help you understand what you're doing. Help you understand what I'm going through, what you're reading, what you're learning. I do encourage you to get these books. I'll show you that real quick. Ecclesiastes 1, I'm not going to show that, but nothing's new under the sun. If it's happened before, it's going to happen again, so forth. But I want to sit here and go to Isaiah 27:11, I believe it is. Isaiah 27, when the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The woman come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. If you don't understand what he's doing in these end times, he will not have any mercy, and he will not show you any favor. Okay? If you've watched any of my other videos, if you've read any of my books, I show you. The Bible is not about just those of the past. The Bible is about us today. So anyway, let me know, if you will, if you made it this far. Probably haven't. I'm probably just rambling on for the heck of it. But anyway, I think we've got this covered, so we're going to call it quits on this video. I think the next video is going to be on the birth of Jesus. And we're going to go into this COVID-19. I know I got another video on the COVID-19, where it came from, but I need to explain how we're married to God. We are the woman, and so forth. And that the woman spoken of in Revelation 12, the earth is in her womb. This is explained in the 4th book. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all later.